one that we're very pleased to be associated with. We began working with the Basketball Hall of Fame 3 years ago, and beyond just the MAAC tournament here in Springfield, we host preseason events, the Tip-Off Classics, which we do with the men's and women's basketball. And 2 years ago, we opened up this exhibition, and we're very pleased to have the presence in the Hall of Fame. As you can tell, it's well branded and it represents the league and the member schools so well. And if you have a chance, take a look at the Beyond the Court display. And we just updated the day in the life to include all our new member schools and their athletes. And you'll find a lot of memorable moments here on the other side as you walk through the exhibit after we unveil the Quinnipiac display. It's recently been announced in December that we're extending the agreement with the Hall of Fame through 2017. And so we'll be not only hosting those events, but keeping the exhibit here as we go back to Albany for the 2015 basketball championships. I want to welcome Quinnipiac. It's great to have you in the league. I think you're going to find we have a focus on basketball 24/7 all year long. We were here today working on our basketball planning meetings for March. It's a focus that never ends, and one of the things that helps us elevate our game within the MAAC is the fact that we do have a presence here year-round and work the events. I want to introduce Ken Taylor from my staff, who handles men's basketball, Roberto Confessore, who does the women's, and John Wooding, who worked on the exhibits with the two schools. Yesterday we unveiled Monmouth and today Quinnipiac. So I want to welcome you. Thank you for attending, and now I want to introduce John Lahey, the president of Quinnipiac, for a few remarks. John, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Rich. Let me just say that on behalf of Quinnipiac University, the entire university, not just the athletic department, we're thrilled and honored to be the new members in the MAAC conference starting this year. I grew up in the Bronx, as some of you know, and I began watching MAAC schools, Iona and Manhattan, play when I was very, very young. So I know the quality of basketball there. And of course, I worked for 10 years at Marist College as well. So the MAAC conference is a tremendous conference, a tremendous, certainly, basketball conference, well known, and it's going to do everything that we were really looking for as we made the next step forward. It's great athletic programs across the board. An emphasis on basketball, both men's and women's basketball, but a great group of academic institutions as well. Quinnipiac, as you know, our first and foremost priority always is academics. It also is a conference that has a lot of focus on New York City, which is very important to Quinnipiac. We get a lot of students from the greater New York area. We got a lot of media attention there. Our alumni is very strong there. We raise a lot of money in that area, so we spend a lot of time in New York, and the more exposure that we can get, and certainly the MAAC conference will give us tremendous exposure there. The MAAC conference also has a great relationship with ESPN here in Connecticut, and so we look forward to many of our games being televised as part of the MAAC conference. I want to particularly thank Tom and Trish for agreeing and supporting this move. They're tremendous. They build tremendous programs, and so we wouldn't have made this move without their support. So I want to thank Tom and particularly Trish. You know, she's coming off of winning this last conference that we were in. Not only did she win the conference, she won every game in the conference. So I'm sure it was a little difficult for her to say, why do I want to go to another conference since I just mastered this one pretty well? And of course, she went on to the NCAA for the first time, and a tremendous achievement. Has built a tremendous program here. But of course, she's also a Fairfield person. She was a star basketball player and still holds many records at Fairfield. And so I'm sure there'll be a more than friendly rivalry with our in-state rival Fairfield that Trish will get up for each year. And then finally, let me thank Jack McDonald. This is not the first new conference he's gotten us into. He got our hockey program, our nationally ranked hockey program, into the ECAC, which has led to, as you know, tremendous success, a #1 ranking for our men's team, and Final Four and final championship game performance. And now to have moved all the rest of our athletic programs into the MAAC conference, and particularly with the strength of the basketball program, which is obviously a sport of emphasis for us. I really want to thank Jack. Most athletic directors during your tenure are lucky to make one move, but he literally has moved their entire athletic program. First of all, he moved it from Division II. I can say it's a long way from the Northeast 10. I think there's one or two schools in throwing distance from here that we used to play against. But that's where athletics was when Jack McDonald arrived, and now he moved it into the ECAC and hockey, and now into the MAAC conference. So on behalf of a very grateful university, I want to thank you, Jack, for all you've done for athletics. And as all of you know, athletics is important in and of itself, of course, but it has a tremendous effect on the overall academic reputation and image of the university. And again, on behalf of the university and the Board of Trustees, I can tell you, I couldn't be happier and more honored that Quinnipiac will now be a member of the MAAC conference. So my thanks again to Rich and his staff and all the presidents and athletic directors who supported that.
Thank you very much, John. Thank you, John, for the nice remarks. Rich, I want to say thank you. For those of you that don't know, this is really our first chance to celebrate our invitation to the MAAC. We're really excited to be in the MAAC. Rich and I go back to when I first met him in 1995 and said, Rich, we're thinking about going Division I. Can we get into the MAAC? He goes, no.
It's a process.
No, call the Northeast Conference. And but here we are, many years later, and we're now in the MAAC. I know what a quality commissioner here he is because of our experience in ice hockey, but we also know what a quality conference it is because of its outstanding reputation in men's and women's basketball. But I got to tell you, our other 19 sports are equally excited about being in the MAAC. We're putting the logo down on the soccer field as we speak. John, this has been quite a week for you. Yesterday, first day of classes in the medical school. I was talking to John's secretary yesterday, and I said, Linda, he did it again. He says, law school, medical school, Division I, Bobcats to Braves, ECAC hockey, and now the MAAC. It's really a tremendous, we would not be where we are today without the tremendous leadership, and I want to say thank you, John. And of course, everything in sports comes down to coaches, and I've said this for 18 years, I'll say it for 18 more if I'm able, but I'm the luckiest athletic director in the world because of Tom and Trish and the other 19 coaches who do it the right way. And they really do it the right way. And Danny Gooley, thanks for being here today. Great statement for the great community we are. So thank you, Tom and Trish, for what you do in a very difficult sport. And but we're thrilled to be here. A couple of public service announcements when Tom and Trish are done. After we get done with the unveiling with the 5 of us, those of you that would like to have a picture taken with the Quinnipiac display, please line up over here. And John Hassett, the best photographer in Division I, was going to work a little overtime. And we'll make sure they get posted and see you. But without further ado, the coach of the year in our former conference, 18-0, great game against Maryland, head women's basketball coach Tricia Fabbri.
Great. Well, this is nothing new, seeing such a great home court advantage here at the Hall of Fame. I want to thank the entire community coming out and making this day such a special day for all of us. So I appreciate you all taking time and joining us. Jack already touched on, and President Lahey did touch on, the MAAC is near and dear to my heart. It's really where I had a tremendous experience as a student athlete. I was fortunate enough to be a part of 2 championship teams at Fairfield and represent the MAAC conference in the NCAA tournament. It's really where I got my start, and I'm here today some years later. So I just know what a great conference it was with Rich and Barbara Church then, and then just to see the growth to where we are today is just second to none. So I'm just so lucky to have had been a part of such a great conference, and now I get to go back home again. So I'm excited for that. Vision and leadership are 2 words that I don't take lightly. And I'm up here with 2 gentlemen that really are the epitome of those words, vision and leadership. I'm entering my 19th season, and I left Fairfield, and it became the first full-time head women's basketball coach at a Division II level. And just every year, to get to the year that we had this year, an historic year, that doesn't happen just by me. This happens from the top down, and President Lahey, Jack McDonald, and our Senior Vice President, Mark Thompson, and everybody in the athletic department and this community makes our job really easy to go out and be the best Quinnipiac we can be. So my staff and I, we thank you from the bottom of the heart of giving us the resources and the opportunity to go out and be our best. I look forward to these new rivals that we're going to have in the MAAC, and it's really a perfect marriage with what Quinnipiac brings athletically and, more importantly, academically to what we have together here, that we do share those same ideals, and it's just a great marriage for us moving forward into the MAAC conference. I get to work alongside with one of the best in the game, and not because he's just a great coach, he's a great family man. It's been a great marriage for us up there in the basketball world and with his staff, so we wish them, as much luck as you need. Just be good. As we go forward in our new endeavor, and we look forward to the new rivals that are going to be built. Go Bobcats.
Thank you. Well, it's always difficult, I think, to go last in one of these speaking engagements here, but I'd like to echo a lot of the sentiments that have already been said by the people before me. First of all, I want to begin by saying thank you to the Hall of Fame. This is a special place, and I was surprised at how many people we talked to right after the clinic who had said they hadn't been up here before. And it's a great, great place to spend an hour or a whole day or a weekend because there's such a great appreciation for the history of basketball and the origins of basketball. I've had the good fortune a couple times to work with some of the people here at the Hall of Fame, and they've always been terrific, and it doesn't surprise me that they have a great relationship with the MAAC. Again, on behalf of the men's basketball program, I'd like to thank Rich and Ken and everybody at the MAAC. I mean, we have really only been in the league for a couple months, but you can tell right away how important basketball is to them by the emails and the phone calls and just the meetings we had in the spring down in Orlando in discussing topics about, relative to basketball. It is an office, I think, that is working on the sport of basketball, both the men's and the women's sport, literally 365 days a year, and it's comforting to be under that type of leadership. Most importantly, again, I want to thank President Lahey, and I want to thank Jack McDonald, Mark Thompson, who I don't think is here, Billy Mecker, who's been here and been an important part of the Quinnipiac Athletic Department for a lot of years. Again, to just echo the vision and the leadership that President Lahey has, when you think about where Quinnipiac was athletically, the academic growth with the medical school and the law school, that speaks for itself. But when you think of where we were athletically only 15 years ago, it's amazing how supportive he has been. And I know when I took the job back in 2007 at Quinnipiac, the most difficult thing of making a professional job change is when you are going to a new job, how much do you trust what the people are saying is valid? It sounded great, and they sounded incredibly supportive. It sounded like everything was going to be in place for us to be successful, but you're really taking a leap of faith because you don't really know for certain until you work in that arena and you work under those people. And I can say there has not been a time where I have not gone to Jack or gone to Billy, or most importantly, gone to President Lahey for something for our program, for our student athletes, whether it be academically or in the classroom, athletically or in the classroom, that they haven't been 100% supportive in trying to move our program forward. So that's more than any coach could ask for. Again, echoing what Trish said, we have a great working relationship between our men's and women's program. It happens on a daily basis. I'm coming from a place where I can appreciate the sensitivity working between the men's and the women's program. It's been wonderful. It's been wonderful, and we're really proud of the accomplishments that they've had, both in the NEC, and we're excited what they're going to do in the MAAC. I have a great staff who are here today: Sean Doherty, Eric Eaton, Scott Burrell, and Mike Papali. Also Lori Landino, too, as well, who is here today, who really make our program, they're the nuts and bolts of our program, do a great job. On behalf of all of them, we're thrilled and excited about the challenges ahead in the MAAC. We've already seen a real big boost in recruiting. We've seen more excitement from the Metro, New York, New Jersey, AAU high school coaches and players. So I think it's going to be a real win-win for Quinnipiac. But thank you very much for coming out today. Most importantly, I tell this to recruits and their parents all the time. What makes Quinnipiac special? It's the type of place that takes you in. And just having a day like this to see the familiar faces I see, this is what makes Quinnipiac really special. Commissioner Ensor, I think we're excited about being a part of this, and I think you'll be proud to have Quinnipiac as a member. Thank you.
Tom. Tricia, Tom, I want to thank you for your remarks. September 4th and 5th, we're doing taping down at Disney. I think it's probably, Ken doesn't like me talking about the schedule too much, but we got some plans on the 4th and 5th of December to do some opening weekend basketball telecasts around our ESPN partnership with Quinnipiac and Monmouth, so I think you'll see something on that. We're planning an announcement September 11th live on ESPN3. We're doing a 2-hour preview show from Disney that we'll be taping this coming couple of weeks after the Labor Day. So keep an eye out for that, but I think you're going to find the basketball focus here is 24/7. And so let's unveil the Quinnipiac display. President Lahey, Jack, coaches, get in here. Trish, you get the honor. There you go.
Okay.
Yep.